what makes a good supervisor?
Our supervisors are not technically skilled for doing it. So as a supervisor, you need to have the technical skills to be a supervisor. That could be interpersonal skills.
People fear supervision. So it is because of fear that it's not happening. Those who are being supervised will look at it like we are being targeted.
Hi everyone, welcome to the See It Do It podcast series. See it means to see linked data, and do it means act on the data.
Let's make every contact count.
Core concepts and quality improvement.
Doing things differently.
Mentoring, support, supervision, and coaching.
Client perspective.
Data quality, digitization, and research.
We are See It, Do It. Welcome to the See It, Do It podcast series. In today's session, we're going to be talking about supportive supervision, coaching, and mentoring. My name is Vicky Doyle. I'm a QI advisor, that's Quality Improvement Advisor to the See It, Do It program. And today I'm joined by two amazing quality improvement coaches, supervisors, and mentors. Their names are Mandela Oguche and Jared Odaru.
That's fine.
Welcome to the podcast studio.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky.
So, as usual, I'm going to start with a provocation. And today's provocation is supervision rarely happens and it is often fault finding. Certainly, my experience from nearly every country I've worked in the world, looking at quality improvement, we see beautiful supervision tools, beautiful guidelines and documents about how the supervision works. But then when it comes to the reality on the ground, it often doesn't happen and is often fault finding. So my first question, Mandela, is what makes a good supervisor?
Well, for that question, thank you for that question. For me, I'll start slightly above where I mean. Supervision is mostly to support teams to improve performance. But rarely that doesn't happen, and that goes to your question. So in my opinion, is supervision doesn't happen because our supervisors are not technically skilled for doing it. So as a supervisor, you need to have the technical skills to be a supervisor. That could be interpersonal skills. You need to be technical about what you're doing. And most of us do not have the capacity to do supervision.
Okay. And Jared, what are the reasons then that supervision is not happening?
Thank you, Vicky, for the question. Adding on what Mandela has talked about, it's not happening because it's from both sides. It could be from the perspective of those who are being supervised or the supervisors themselves. Supervision is not happening because mostly it's being looked at as not as people fear supervision. So it is because of fear that it's not happening. Those who are being supervised will look at it like we are being targeted for not doing something right, so they fear it. And on what he has said, those who are supervising do not have the knowledge. They do not know what to do in regards to support supervision. So they come to look for fault instead of helping these people to perform better.
And just to add on what Jared has said, traditionally supervision was deemed at a higher staff or a higher professional looking at, what the junior people do. And for me, I think it's also not happening in the sense that you need to ensure the teams are working together with you so that you improve their performance and their skills so that we have a positive outcome of whatever they're doing or whatever inputs or outputs they intend to have actually comes.
And can I ask, do resource constraints come into this as well?
Well, definitely. In the programs we work, of course, we work for non-governmental organizations. And what we see on the ground is there's high dependency on partner-supported supervisions. I wouldn't say that the county or the sub-county teams do not have the capacity. To some point, they have the capacity. but they do not have the resources to actually do supervisions at the community levels or at the facility level. So it also goes to probably planning or prioritizing supervision as a mode of increasing performance, both at the community and the facility level.
Yeah, talking about resources, for example, at the community level, when you are implementing quality improvement, there's no resources needed for a chair, for example, to go and supervise a CHP.
Yeah.
It is just that deliberately they don't do it, simply because, as I had said, most of them do not even know how to do supervision. So some of them deliberately don't want to do their work. So when it comes to resources, I would agree with what Mandela is saying, that it comes to play, but at some point also at the community level, it doesn't come to play. People don't just do what they are required to do, because, for example, supervising a CHP in a household to do a household visit and to do assessment do not require any resource. Yes.
Okay, I think really good point.
Yeah.
Really good point. Because often people argue we don't have the resources to do it, but actually there's no reason why a child can't be supervising the community health promoters that they are supporting, and again, no reason why in charges can't also be providing supervision to their facility staff as well. Maybe we can also talk a little bit about mentoring and coaching. I know that you do a lot of QI coaching with the work improvement teams and also mentoring. Can you talk me through what that involves? Jared.
Thank you, Vicky. Mentoring, I want to start with mentoring. Mentoring is helping an individual to be able to know what to do as required. So working with them the journey of knowing what to do and ensure that they do it well to their perfection. And coaching is actually, in my own perspective, is showing them how to do the right things. You're working with them and then showing them this is how it is done, and you do it like this. That is what, for me, is mentoring and coaching. Mm-hmm. So it involves walking the journey together with this particular person, telling them what to do and also doing it together with them. Yeah. That is what is mentoring and coaching.
Okay, I love that description.
I tend to agree with Jared on this. I will only add the aspect of you can also mentor teams. So there's a moment where you will mentor an individual, and then at some point you mentor teams. So in the sense, just like you said, we work very closely with work improvement teams. So then when we mentor and coach them, they are in a team. So it's also important to know you can mentor a team. And then mentorship and coaching for me is a really frequent kind of engagement with hands-on examples and ways how they can do it differently or in a way that is important to both them and the individuals per se. So my point is teams can also be mentored and coached, and then it has a period of time. So frequent contact with the teams.
And what about peer-to-peer mentoring? Is that something you've also been encouraging? Because again, when we're talking about resource constraints, sometimes it may be difficult for you to go out and to do that, because you said it's very frequent. So what about the power and value of peer-to-peer mentoring and also coaching? Do you have experience of that?
Yes, we have. We identify our teams. We know their strengths and also their weaknesses. You have some who are very strong at us doing a certain thing, and some weak in doing these things. So we encourage peer-to-peer mentorship and coaching. Because of resources, as we have talked about it might not be enough to be everywhere all the time. But after identifying these strong members, then we are able to bring them on board to be able to help others. So it is one aspect or one technique that we actually use in several locations, not in one site, but in different sites where we are, after identifying their strengths. And then we encourage it a lot, especially when it comes to the WITs and also the CHPs.
Yeah, I agree with you. So again, peer-to-peer also helps teams or help individuals who are weaker to have more contact with their own peers. And just like we said before, supervision, there's a traditional way of thought that is a bigger person or even a mentor is a senior. So sometimes peer-to-peer gives some of, the stuff, the people we work with are more easier, free, and, comfortable platform where they can easily ask questions and do that. And I'll give a typical example. Where we work with electronic community health information system, and you realize it's a digital platform for data collection and stuff. So we have CHPs who are very good at it, and then we have CHPs who are not so good at it. And peer-to-peer mentoring enables these particular community health promoters to actually work with their peers in a household and have a hands-on, step-by-step explanation on how it's supposed to be done. And it's also very effective. And this can also give feedback to the mentors in terms of the improvement of that particular peer who was actually with.
Yeah, so there's very strong arguments then on the value of that peer-to-peer support. So maybe getting back then to looking at supervision, how do we overcome that mindset people have, that fear, and avoid the fear of supervision? Because I still think when people know they're getting a supervision visit, they can be quite fearful of it. Is there anything we can do, or anything that you do to help alleviate that fear of supervision?
For me, I will say, probably before Jared goes, for me, I'll say is you when you're doing supervision, you have to forge very good relationships. There should be trust. There should be belief in whatever you're trying to help these people is actually for their own good. On the flip side, again, the teams need to know that supervision is actually not fault-finding, but it's to increase your performance and to build your capacity in doing a particular activity or to enable you achieve an intervention. So how to overcome it, in my opinion, is one, you need to forge very good relationships. And as a very good supervisor, having the interpersonal skills to, communicate effectively to the teams and really encourage them by giving them positive feedback. And if there's something that's not done well, then you give them a way in which they can actually do it the right way instead of pinpointing the mistake. So you're not tackling the person, you're actually tackling the issue. So that's from
Yeah, in addition to what Mandela said, to alleviate these fears, we usually have very focused and clear objectives when it comes to supervision. You come and have a discussion and tell them the roadmap. This is what we are going to do, and this is how we are doing it. We are not focusing on this, but we are focusing on this. For example, if you want to supervise on itches, as he has talked about, that is our focus. And then the focus is, this is what we are going to do in regards to itches. At the end of the day, this will be if this is the outcome, well, we are going to take this action. It's not about we are going to send you away from work, we are going to scold you or something like that. So as you do it, they actually have a clear objective. They have a clear roadmap of what the intention of that particular supervision is. So they actually know. So with that, you remove the fear of unknown, working towards what they already know.
Yeah. And so maybe also it's trying to change that mindset so people see supervision as an opportunity for growth and as an opportunity for, whether it's at an individual level or group level, to improve performance. Well, I think you've captured brilliantly, so your experiences of doing supporter supervision, coaching and mentoring. So as normal, I'd love to end this podcast with your 3 key messages you would like to give to our listeners. So Mandela, I'm going to ask you to do that, please.
Thank you for starting with me, because one of my main key messages comes from what Jared has said. So I think we need to support teams with the end in mind, in the sense that you know the output you want and you need to communicate that to them so that you don't have these moments where you ambush them with the supervision. So you have a plan how you want to have either weekly, monthly kind of supervision. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pandela. For me, it's very important to know your team. Know your team very well, what they are strong at and what they are weak at. so that when you are doing your support, supervision, mentorship, and coaching, you will not dwell much on what they already know, but you will dwell much on areas that they need to improve. Yes. Yeah.
And your last message.
Oh yes, my last message. As a effective coach or an effective supervisor, you need to have very strong technical and interpersonal skills, which will enable you to engage effectively with the people that you coach or you supervise.
Okay. So thank you. So our 3 key messages today are support staff with the end in mind, know your team, and technical skills and interpersonal skills are equally important. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let us do it now. No, no, no. Right now. Yeah. Right now. Right now. Let us do it now. Right now. No, no. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Let us do it now. Now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Yeah.